First-person shooters are everywhere. For years, they've made the player feel like they're actually there in the battle, while making them walk around holding their guns like this. But if you ask anyone my age what their original first-person shooter was, the first one they ever played, they'd probably say Doom or GoldenEye. But mine was TimeSplitters 2, and I think it's time to see how well it aged. Whoops. There is more than one game mode here, but let's start with the story mode. There are aliens called TimeSplitters who hate humanity for no reason other than evil. Traveling through time to mess with history, then a ship comes and lands in their space station, and wait, this doesn't seem right. Where are the subtitles? The two space marines fight their way through the station to reach the time portal, but the TimeSplitters take the time crystals that they need for their plan and scatter them throughout history. Now this bald guy named Sergeant Cortez goes into the portal to get the crystals and correct any changes made to history by shooting everything that moves. In every mission, he is turned into somebody else who belongs in the time period he is sent to. In this case, it's this lady in Siberia in the year 1990. In this mission, you have to infiltrate a Russian base that was apparently experimenting with zombies. And one thing I noticed is that your health does not regenerate over time like in most shooters these days. You have to find first aid kits to get your health back, and here's the kicker. There are no first aid kits in story mode. They show up in the arcade mode, but not here, so all the damage you take in any mission is permanent. The closest thing to healing you can get is finding armor that will absorb damage until it runs out. Then you start losing health again. The only way to get your health back is to restart the mission entirely. If you reach a checkpoint and restart from there or get killed, you will have the same amount of health you had when you first reached it, and the checkpoints are scarce. There's only one, maybe two, in each mission. Speaking of missions, you have to complete every primary objective to finish the mission. If you fail the objective, you just have to restart. In fact, I think that's even worse than dying because you have to shamefully pause the game and make your way to the restart option. There are secondary objectives. You don't have to do them, but I like to get them done anyway. Once all primary objectives are completed, the time portal opens, then you just have to escape through it. And like I said, the time portal won't open if you missed any objective. After shooting down the helicopter, I still had to go all the way back to the first area of the stage because I forgot to blow up this communication dish. Then I had to go back to the top of the dam to get to the portal. The second mission takes you to Chicago in the year 1932 as hard-boiled detective Jake Fenton trying to take down Big Tony, who runs an exclusive speakeasy. It's alright to shoot these guys though. They have whiskey and that's illegal in this time. Die! 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 That'll teach you to drink alcohol! It was around this time that I noticed how bad the aiming mechanics are. You shoot with R and aim with L, which isn't a bad thing considering some games I played when I was younger shoot with the A button, but there is no iron sights. Instead, you get a crosshair on the screen and the aiming sensitivity is dramatically increased. And as soon as you let go of the C-stick, the crosshair goes right back to the middle of the screen, making precision headshots more difficult than they should be. With bad aiming aside, you have to drain all the whiskey barrels, protect this guy as he goes back to his hideout, get a pass to enter the Sunrise Club, then kill Big Tony by dual-wielding Tommy guns, which I'm pretty sure would be much more difficult than the game makes it look, grab the time crystal off his corpse, and jump through the portal while dodging the TimeSplitters that show up. Next, we have the Notre Dame Cathedral in 1895, where a lady dressed as a jester has to rescue several maidens while fighting off the undead. And speaking of that, I think it's actually easier to kill zombies with just your fists rather than a shotgun in this game. Now, you rescue several maidens that are trapped in the catacombs beneath the cathedral, but one of them is a monster, and I vaguely remember failing this mission as a kid when I shot the zombie maiden, but apparently I remembered that wrong, because I blew her head off and didn't fail this time around. And just so you know, if any maidens die for any reason at all, oops, you fail and have to restart. You also get an assist from the Hunchback. After all the maidens are free, you have to take down Sir Topham Hatt, who has been raising the dead and summoning giant demons. Next up, return to Planet X in the year 2280. There are a bunch of aliens causing trouble with their race war between the green guys and the red guys, and you need to find their underground base where they keep all the flying saucers. Then I looped around the entire map twice, trying to figure out where to go because I missed this small opening in the wall. Then you shoot down the saucers trying to escape. Now the way into their base opens up, and that's where they have the time crystal. The portal opens. It's at this point in the game that I really started to notice how different the missions are based solely on the difficulty level. When I played this game as a kid, I went through on easy because I was a frightened little child.
Now I'm a big, frightened adult.
On easy, the mission ends inside the crashed ship, whereas on normal or hard, you drop down through a hole in the bottom of the crashed ship, and the first mission, that one ends in the tunnels rather than on top of the dam, and Chicago has less involved in getting the pass.
Take the pass on the table. It'll get you inside the Sunrise Club. Then the rest is up to you. You'll need a pass to get into the Sunrise Club. Tony keeps a spare in the safe.
But anyway, let's just focus on the normal difficulty because that's what I played on for the sake of the review. Now here's the mission that I hate the most. Neo Tokyo in the distant future of, last year. The thing that makes me hate this mission so much is the mandatory stealth segment at the start of the level. You need to follow this girl into an underground research facility, and if she sees you, she turns around and starts shooting. If she dies, you fail and have to start over, and to make matters worse, there are security cameras everywhere, and you have to avoid those and the flying police cars, and that just makes me hate this level even more. They thought we would have flying cars by now, but instead, this is how people really travel.
I'm a snake. Hiss.
You can't fall too far behind this girl either. If you're just a little too slow, then guess what? You have to do the whole stealth part again. And just to give me one more reason to hate this level, I ran into a glitch that only happened here, where I picked up a silenced pistol, but I couldn't use it. The glitch stopped eventually, but that just further cements this stage, in my opinion, as the worst in the game. After following her all the way here, you need to stay hidden for a little bit longer, and use this camera to get her password to enter the lab. Then finally you can shoot everything. Once in the lab, you find a camera and have to take pictures of blueprints and a weird machine with a time splitter in it, and upload those to the police server because they framed you for whatever it is they're doing. Now you turn off the machine, shoot the hacker's leader full of holes, take the crystal from her cold dead hands, and make your way to the portal while the police are still trying to kill you despite having cleared your name. And to make this level even worse still, the cops have laser guns. We don't have those yet. You've lied to me again, TimeSplitters! Now we're off to the Wild West in 1853. Here you shoot up the whole town and break this lady out of jail using a wagon full of dynamite. But the only way to set it off is to leave a trail of gunpowder leading to the wagon. And the only way I could think of to light it was by shooting a wooden box. Try to figure that one out. She's free. Now you shoot more guys, put out a bonfire by shooting the conveniently placed water barrels on the ceiling, and now you kill the colonel and make your way into the gold mine where the time crystal is. And this was the stage that I realized how bad the voice acting can be in this game.
Yee-haw!
I'm the Colonel. Nobody messes with me.
Not only that, but the lack of reload animations in this game started to bother me a little. The only weapon with any sort of reload animation is the double-barrel shotgun and the tactical 12-gauge. They took the time to animate the hammer on the revolver and this thing on the Luger pistol, but when it comes to reloading, they just lower the gun and bring it back up. Come on, I want to see my guy fumble around trying to put bullets in his gun. Next mission, Atom Smasher 1972, with a cliche James Bond type villain and a charismatic secret agent guy.
Has anyone ever told you you have a screw loose?
Here you're under a time limit to defuse several bombs, but you don't defuse them yourself. You need these scientist guys to do it for you, except the one you grab with a magnet and drop down a hole. And I'm not sure how that defuses the bomb, but as long as it works. Then you just grab the crystal, kill the big bad guy, and escape. But the way forward is blocked with lasers, and to turn them off, you need to reach the control room by walking across a narrow pipe with steam shooting out of it, and I kept falling off this pipe even if I walked a perfectly straight line, making the stage a little more annoying than it had to be. Now there's the Aztec ruins in 1920. Here you have to fight your way through the angry natives, wooden golems, and monkeys that throw explosive watermelons. After clearing out all the enemies, I got stuck and ran all over the map trying to figure out what it was I was supposed to do, until I pressed the A button looking at one of these stone pillars and saw part of it rotate. Then I realized I had to solve a puzzle, but there was no clear indicator on what I was supposed to do. Nothing tells you to interact with the pillars or what it is you need to do with them, so after messing around a while with them, I finally caved and used a walkthrough to figure out that each picture needs to be facing the same picture, meaning the happy face needs to face another happy face, the lizard needs to face a lizard, and so on. Now the door opens, there's nothing else needlessly cryptic in this level. You go into the temple looking for the time crystal, but it goes down the shaft, and now you need to kill all the stone golems, and shooting them does absolutely nothing. The only way to kill them that I know of is to step on these buttons and open trap doors, but be careful, if you fall in, you die too. Even further in, you find yourself on a rope bridge with stone faces all over the walls. They slowly turn around and shoot lasers one by one. You have to shoot all of them, but only on the side that looks like a skull to break them and open the way forward, where you finally find the time crystal, which is guarded by 3 more golems. And the only thing I could think to do is lure them all the way back up the stairs, across the bridge with the stone faces, through the spear traps, and back into the room with all the trap doors to kill them. Then the portal opens all the way down in the room where you found the crystal, so now I have to walk all the way back on a tiny sliver of health, dodging all the time splitters that just showed up. Now it's time for the Robot Factory in 2315. Thankfully, this mission isn't as convoluted or tedious as the last one. Here you just fight your way through an army of robots and overload all these power nodes with the electro tool. Then you fight this giant machine, run up around behind it and grab the crystal and get out. Then it's on to the final mission, the space station in 2401. Having retrieved all the time crystals, the time splitters finally break through the door and kill this lady. Now you have to grab the crystals, activate the self-destruct sequence, and make your escape. Once the self-destruct is activated, you have 6 minutes to get out, but on the way down you have to step outside to shoot incoming time splitter ships. And you need to grab an environment suit first, because obviously you'll die in the vacuum of space, but what's worse, you'll be forced to listen to... Once the ships are all down, you have to go to this huge elevator, and unfortunately, you can't just jump down to save time, because this is the only place in the entire game where you take fall damage. So you have to hit the button and wait for the elevator to come, and it takes what seems like forever. Then you just run to your ship, and that's the end. You watch Sergeant Cortez fight off the Time-Splitters as he makes his escape, and the space station explodes behind him. Then the credits roll in what looks like the opening to Doctor Who on steroids. Then, at the end, it says, Time-Splitters will return. And they weren't lying, because there was a third game called Time-Splitters Future Perfect, which I never played. And they also felt the need to say that no monkeys were harmed in the making of this game. Now, why would they need to... Oh, right. Like I said earlier, there is more than just the story mode. There's also mini-games that can be found in some story missions and played on the temporal uplink that also functions as a map. In Siberia, you can find the first one just sitting on a shelf. This one is called Anaconda. It's basically Snake, except you can move in 360 degrees. The next one is found in Neo Tokyo inside a locker. It is Astrolander. The goal is to safely land on the landing pad, which I did but still lost anyway, and I have no idea what I was doing wrong. I did it once, but I couldn't do it again. And there is a third one called Retro Racer, but I never found this one because apparently it can only be found in the Robot Factory on Hard. But to unlock Hard mode for that mission, I would have to beat every mission before it on Hard, and I am just not ready for the horror that is Neo Tokyo on Hard mode. Now let's talk about the challenges. There are things like breaking windows, collecting bananas, dismembering walking corpses, and incredibly annoying stealth challenges. Completing any of these challenges with a score good enough to earn the silver trophy or better will unlock new characters, weapons, stages, or cheats for the arcade mode. And arcade is definitely where I spent most of my time playing this game when I was younger. The biggest thing there is the Arcade League, with different pre-made setups to play through, like slaughtering an army of gingerbread men with a minigun, or getting jumped by ducks, where you try to complete the challenges, earning the trophies as you go. The trophies range from bronze, silver, gold, and in certain cases platinum, and just like the challenge mode, silver or better unlocks new things for arcade. Then there's the custom arcade, where you can set up your own games. You can have a free-for-all, you could start an alien war, or even play a game of capture the bag with a bunch of freaks and weirdos. Oh no, the zombie apocalypse has begun, and they're throwing bricks! Bricks! As for the cheats, there are some that actually change up the game, such as having all characters permanently invisible, and others exist only for the sake of comedy. Also, I wouldn't recommend playing any sort of deathmatch on the Chasm stage, because there is a glitch on this stage that can really mess with the score. Out of the whole TimeSplitters trilogy, this is the only game that I played. I wish I had the chance to play Future Perfect, and after doing a little research, I learned that TimeSplitters 4 was being developed. However, Free Radical, the company that made the game, was bought out by Crytek, and TimeSplitters 4 was ultimately cancelled. But just a few years ago, the IP for the TimeSplitters franchise had fallen into the hands of a small team of developers who are currently working on a new game titled TimeSplitters Rewind.
I would strongly recommend playing any of the games in this series. They may not have aged well, but I am glad that somebody's trying to revive the TimeSplitters franchise, and I have high hopes for Rewind, and I think it's time to split. Ow! They'd probably say Doom or GoldenEye, but I forgot to grab the game out of the box.
And here, then you start losing. In fact, I think that's even worse than dying because in the aiming, grab the time cord, and that's where they have okay, that is a typo. Using a Ugh. Now the door opens. Having retrieved all of the time screws, that also God, why is my words not working? Which different I cannot read.